The alien Amazons were known across the galaxy for their strength and warrior skills. They were tall, powerful, and proud of their history. But their race was in trouble. They needed stronger children to survive the future battles that awaited them. They decided that they must find the strongest male in the galaxy to improve their genes. So, the Amazons set out on a mission, searching planet by planet. They tested many species. Some were strong but lacked intelligence. Others were clever but weak. The Amazons were frustrated. They had traveled far and wide, but none of the species met their high standards. They began to lose hope. Then one day, a scout reported finding a small blue planet on the edge of a quiet solar system. The planet was called Earth, and it was home to humans. The Amazons had heard of humans before, but thought of them as weak and insignificant. Still, they were desperate and decided to take a look. They sent a small team to Earth to observe the humans. To their surprise, they found something interesting. Human males, though not as physically imposing as some other species, had a unique strength. They could endure hardship, showed great willpower, and had a strange mix of intelligence and creativity. The Amazons watched them run, lift weights, and work long hours without giving up. They were especially impressed by how humans supported each other in times of need, showing a strength that was more than just physical. Among all the humans, one stood out: John. He was not the biggest or the strongest, but there was something special about him. John was determined and never quit, no matter how tough things got. He had a solid build from his regular workouts, and his eyes showed a deep resolve. The Amazons noticed how he helped others at his gym, always encouraging his friends to push harder and do better. They saw him face challenges with a smile, never backing down. The Amazons watched John for days. They saw him handle difficult situations with calm and focus. Whether he was fixing a problem at work or dealing with personal struggles, John kept going. He was smart and resourceful, often finding clever solutions when things went wrong. The Amazons realized that John had what they were looking for, not just physical strength, but also a strong spirit. They believed his genes could bring new hope to their race. After careful observation, the Amazons made their decision. John would be the one. They planned to take him back to their world and make him their breeding male. They believed his genes would help them create a new generation of warriors that could save their race. The Amazons were excited, but also knew they had to be careful. They couldn't just take John without a plan. They prepared their ship and set their course for Earth. The Amazons were ready to bring John into their world, hoping he would accept his role in their mission. They knew convincing him wouldn't be easy, but they were determined. As their ship approached Earth, the Amazons felt a mix of excitement and nerves. They had finally found what they were looking for, a chance to secure their future. Now they just had to get John on board. The Amazons' search was over, but their journey with John was just beginning. They hoped that he would see the importance of his role and join them willingly. If not, they were prepared to use other means. The Amazons were used to getting what they wanted, and they believed John was the key to their survival. John was just an ordinary guy living an ordinary life on Earth. He worked a 9-to-5 job, went to the gym every evening, and hung out with his friends on weekends. He never imagined that anyone, especially not aliens, would take an interest in him. But high above Earth, the Amazons were getting ready to make their move. They had chosen John as their breeding male, believing his genes were the key to saving their race. Now they just had to bring him to their world. One evening, John was at the gym, lifting weights like he always did. He felt strong and energized, pushing himself to beat his personal record. As he finished his set, he noticed the lights flickering. Suddenly, the gym went dark and a strange hum filled the air. Before John could react, a bright light surrounded him. He felt his body lift off the ground and everything went black. John woke up in a strange room. The walls were shiny and smooth, with no windows or doors that he could see. It was cold and the air smelled metallic. He tried to stand but felt dizzy. As his eyes adjusted to the dim light, he noticed figures watching him. They were tall, much taller than any human, with broad shoulders and fierce eyes. John's heart raced as he realized he was not on Earth anymore. These were the Amazons, the alien warriors who had chosen him for their mission. The leader of the Amazons, a powerful figure named Zara, stepped forward. She looked at John with a mix of curiosity and determination. She explained why they had taken him, that he was chosen because of his strong genes, and that they needed him to help their race survive. John couldn't believe what he was hearing. He tried to argue, to demand they take him back home, but Zara was firm. "You are too important to us," she said. "You are the strongest male we have found. You will help us, one way or another." John felt trapped and scared. He had no idea how to escape or even where he was. He tried to stay calm, thinking of all the action movies he'd seen. But this was no movie. The Amazons were real and they were serious. He tried to reason with them, but Zara and her warriors were not easily swayed. They were used to getting what they wanted, and they wanted John. As the Amazons led him through their ship, John saw just how advanced their technology was. The ship was massive, with rooms filled with strange machines and glowing symbols. The Amazons moved with confidence, their every step echoing through the metallic halls. John knew he couldn't fight them. They were too strong, too prepared. He needed a plan, but first he needed to understand what he was dealing with. The Amazons showed John their world through a large window on the ship. He saw their planet in the distance, a place of mountains and jungles, unlike anything on Earth. Zara explained that their society was built on strength and honor. They valued power above all else, and that was why they needed him. John listened, still trying to make sense of everything. He realized that the Amazons were not just warriors, they were desperate, and in their desperation they had taken him against his will. John felt a mix of fear and anger. He wanted to get back home, but he also knew that the Amazons were counting on him. He was stuck between two worlds, and for the first time he didn't know what to do. The Amazons gave him a choice: help them willingly or be forced into it. John stared at the Amazons, thinking hard. He knew one thing for sure: he wouldn't go down without a fight. John sat in his new room on the Amazon spaceship, feeling trapped and alone. The walls were made of cold metal, and the only light came from a small glowing panel on the ceiling. He had no idea how long he had been there, but it felt like days. The Amazons brought him food and water, but they didn't talk much. He was tired of the silence and the feeling of being watched all the time. He missed his home, his friends, and the normal life he once had. Then one day Zara, the Amazon leader, came to see him. She looked serious, but there was also a hint of respect in her eyes. She told John that she wanted to make him an offer. The Amazons needed him, she said, but they didn't want him to feel like a prisoner. Zara promised that if he agreed to help them, they would treat him like a hero. He would have everything he could ever want: luxury, respect, and a chance to make a real difference. John listened carefully. The idea of being treated like a hero sounded good, but he still didn't trust the Amazons. He remembered how they had taken him without warning, how they had forced him onto their ship. He wanted to go home, not be stuck on an alien planet playing some role he never asked for. John looked at Zara and said, "I'm not some tool you can just use. If you want my help, you have to treat me with respect. I have my own mind, my own choices." Zara was quiet for a moment, then nodded. She explained that the Amazons were desperate. Their race was declining, and they needed new, strong genes to survive. They had searched everywhere but found no one as fit as John. She told him about the Amazon struggles, their battles, and the dangers they faced. Zara admitted that they had made mistakes, but they truly believed John could help them save their future. John thought about Zara's words. He could see the weight of her responsibility and the fear behind her tough exterior. It wasn't just about him, it was about an entire race struggling to survive. He realized that the Amazons were not as invincible as they seemed. They were just trying to protect their people, much like anyone would. But John still had his own conditions. "If I'm going to help you," he said firmly, "I want to be part of the decisions. I'm not just a passenger on this ride." Zara agreed to John's terms. She offered to show him their world, to teach him about their culture, and to involve him in their plans. She even promised to help him understand the advanced technology of their ship. John was still cautious, but he knew this was his best chance to gain some control over his situation. He decided to accept the offer, but on his own terms. Over the next few days, Zara and the Amazons kept their promise. They took John to different parts of the ship, showing him their weapons, their training areas, and their command center. John watched as the Amazons trained, sparred, and prepared for future battles. He learned about their history, their leaders, and why they valued strength above all else. He saw that the Amazons were not just warriors, they were also mothers, sisters, and daughters, all fighting for the survival of their race. John started to understand the Amazons more and even began to admire their dedication. But he also knew that he had to keep his guard up. The Amazons needed him, but he had to make sure they saw him as more than just a breeding male. He wanted to be a partner in their mission, not a pawn. As he stood with Zara, looking out at the stars, John realized that his journey was far from over. He had a role to play, but it would be on his terms, and he was ready to face whatever came next. John knew that gaining the Amazons' respect would not be easy. Even though Zara had agreed to his terms, many of the other Amazons still doubted him. They saw him as just a human, weaker than them and not worthy of their time. To prove himself, John had to show that he was more than what they expected. He had to prove that he could stand beside them, not just be used by them. One morning, Zara called John to the training grounds. The area was vast, filled with obstacles, weapons, and Amazons sparring with each other. Zara explained that John needed to face 3 challenges: strength, bravery, and intelligence. These tests were designed to show if he was truly worthy of being part of their mission. John took a deep breath and nodded. He knew this was his chance to show the Amazons what he was capable of. The first challenge was a test of strength. John was up against a large Amazon named Rekka, known for her power and fierce fighting skills. They were to lift heavy stones and carry them across the field. Rekka went first, easily lifting the stones and moving quickly. When it was John's turn, he struggled at first, the weight nearly knocking him down. But John refused to give up. He focused, remembering all the times he pushed through pain at the gym. Slowly but surely, he lifted the stones one by one, his muscles straining with effort. He wasn't as fast as Rekka, but he finished the task, surprising many of the Amazons who thought he would fail. The second challenge was bravery. John was led to a dark tunnel where he was told to retrieve a glowing orb guarded by a robotic beast. The Amazons watched from above, expecting John to run at the first sign of danger. John entered the tunnel, his heart pounding. The robot appeared, growling with sharp metallic claws. John felt a surge of fear but pushed it aside. He remembered Zara's words about strength not just being physical, but also about facing fears. John dodged the beast, using his speed and quick thinking to outmaneuver it. He grabbed the orb and ran back, breathing hard but smiling. He had done it. The Amazons murmured in surprise, starting to see that John was more courageous than they had thought. The final challenge was a test of intelligence. John had to solve a complex puzzle that controlled the ship's defense system. The Amazons prided themselves on their advanced technology, and they doubted John could understand it. But John wasn't just strong, he was smart too. He studied the symbols and patterns, recalling his knack for problem-solving. He worked quickly, his mind focused on finding the right connections. After a tense few minutes, the system lit up, signaling success. John had solved the puzzle, leaving the Amazons in awe. John stood before the Amazons, tired but proud. He had completed all 3 challenges, proving that he was more than just a human. He was strong, brave, and smart, everything the Amazons needed. Rekka, who had once doubted him the most, stepped forward and nodded in respect. For the first time, John felt like he was truly part of their team. Zara approached John, her eyes filled with pride. She announced to the Amazons that John had earned his place among them, not just as a breeding male, but as an ally and a friend. John smiled, feeling a sense of belonging he hadn't expected. He knew there would be more challenges ahead, but he was ready. He had proven himself, and now, together with the Amazons, he was ready to face whatever the galaxy had in store. John had proven himself to the Amazons. He was no longer just a human stuck on an alien ship. He was a valued member of their team. The challenges had shown everyone that he was strong, brave, and smart. But even more importantly, they had shown that John was willing to fight for his place and stand by the Amazons in their mission. For the first time, John felt a real connection with the Amazons. They were no longer just captors, they were allies and maybe even friends. As the ship neared the Amazon home planet, John looked out at the view. The planet was beautiful, with vast jungles, towering mountains, and deep blue oceans. It was a world full of life and challenges, just like the Amazons themselves. Zara stood beside him, pointing out the different regions and explaining their importance. She spoke of their cities, their warriors, and the battles they had fought to keep their world safe. John listened carefully, taking it all in. He felt a sense of excitement and purpose. he was ready to start this new chapter of his life. When the ship landed, the Amazons greeted John with cheers and respect. They had heard of his achievements on the ship and were eager to welcome him. John was introduced to their leaders and shown around their main city. The Amazon city was unlike anything John had ever seen, filled with advanced technology and bustling with activity. The buildings were tall and strong, made from materials that could withstand any attack. Everywhere he looked, there were Amazons training, working, and preparing for whatever came next. Zara led John to a special ceremony held in his honor. It was a tradition for the Amazons to celebrate new members who had proven themselves worthy. The ceremony was filled with music, dancing, and speeches from the Amazon leaders. They praised John for his strength and courage, acknowledging the valuable role he would play in their future. As John stood before the crowd, he felt a mix of pride and gratitude. He had come a long way from his ordinary life on Earth, and now he was part of something much bigger. During the celebration, Zara made a surprising offer. She asked John if he would like to stay with them, not just as a breeding male, but as a full member of their society. She explained that he would have a say in their decisions, help them in their battles, and work with them to secure their future. John thought about his life on Earth, the job, the gym, the routine. It all seemed so small compared to the opportunities ahead of him now. He realized that staying with the Amazons wasn't just about helping them, it was also about finding his own path. John agreed to Zara's offer. He promised to do his best to help the Amazons, not just with his genes, but with his mind and heart as well. The Amazons cheered, and Zara smiled proudly. John was officially one of them, ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy threw their way. As the celebration continued, John looked around at his new friends and allies. He felt a deep sense of belonging, knowing he was exactly where he needed to be. With the Amazons by his side, John knew that this was just the beginning. There would be new battles, new discoveries, and new adventures. But John was ready. He had found a new home among the Amazons, a place where he could be himself and make a real difference. As he watched the stars from the Amazon city, John smiled, feeling hopeful for the future. He had started as a simple human, but now he was part of something far greater. Together with the Amazons, John was ready to build a new beginning, one filled with strength, unity, and the promise of tomorrow.